Australian people are not what I expected at all. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So as you guys might know, I am from the UK originally and I spent 2 years living in Australia. And one thing that I definitely noticed when I was there is there's a lot of differences with Australian people that you don't really see online, and they kind of go against the typical stereotype and perception of typical Aussies. There were quite a lot of differences and things which I thought, yeah, I didn't expect that. The first point is that online, I feel like Aussies are made out to be pretty crazy people, very loud and yeah, just crazy. But from my experience in Australia, Aussies are the most chilled out people ever. Like so much more chilled out than they come across online. They're just very relaxed. Their whole vibe towards life and anything, any kind of stressful situation or big like event, they just don't care. Do you know what I mean? There could be a massive tornado coming in off the sea, ready to like wipe out a city, and they'll just be like, is what it is. Do you know what I mean? They're so chilled out and relaxed. Compared to online, where I just feel like, I don't know, they're just very chaotic, very loud and that sort of thing. But from my experience in real life, they are a lot more chilled out and relaxed towards pretty much everything. The next point is that they are so much healthier than they come across online. I think, yeah, from what I've seen online, I thought Aussies were pretty big drinkers and yeah, we're just crazy, pretty much alcoholics. From what I've seen on social media and stuff, like they just love a drink and that's their whole vibe in Australia. But I couldn't believe how many Aussies were fit and healthy and in shape and into, yeah, living a healthy lifestyle. It's one thing I've mentioned before, and I think the coffee culture and the cafe culture and running, that sort of culture is a lot bigger than the actual drinking culture in Australia. I thought the drinking culture in Australia would be like as big as the UK, but from my experience, this isn't the case at all. I was shocked to see how healthy of a life so many Aussies lived. The next thing is that they are actually less social than I maybe expected. Whilst they are social for sure, I think online, it goes back to that first point again, and it's that I kind of expected Aussies to be a lot more loud and a lot more out there and chatty, and you know, you're walking down the street and they're like having conversation with you and stuff, and whilst that does happen a bit, it's not like, they're definitely nowhere near as social as like Americans, for example, where I feel like they are so overly extroverted. I feel like Aussies, like I said, they're a lot more chilled out, but I think they are less out there and less social than I thought. I think when you get to know them, they are definitely very social and very easy to talk to, and you can definitely have a good laugh with Aussies. But I thought that maybe just in general, walking down the street and stuff, as they come across online, you think they're all going to be in your face and really overly social, but from my experience, they're actually very laid back, and sometimes they just need to warm to you to have, you know, to open up. The next one is a proper stereotype, and that is that they're not all laid back surfers and live that kind of life. There is a lot of people in Australia that live a very similar life to people in the UK. People that work corporate jobs, people that go to their 9-to-5s and live that kind of life. And this sounds obvious, and it's like, obviously people do that in Australia, but it's not the typical stereotype, and it's not the typical sort of Aussie that you picture. When you think of Australia, you think that everyone's very chill and they're just going down surfing and stuff. But there is a lot of just corporate people who work pretty serious jobs and actually live a very similar life to people in the UK. And the last point is a point that I have mentioned before, and it is that Aussies get a lot more defensive than I expected. And I think Aussies, yeah, they don't like it if you have certain opinions about places. They're very opinionated about what their favorite city is and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought that they were going to be a lot more chilled out in that regard. Like I said, they don't really care about a lot of things and they're very laid back about a lot of things, but one thing they're not, one thing they do care about is if you come into the country and have an opinion or criticize it in any way, they get very defensive, especially on social media. That's one thing I've definitely learned on like TikTok and stuff. Yeah, they're very defensive and don't like it if you have an opinion about a place that they disagree with. But before I went there, I thought they wouldn't really care at all. So yeah, there's just some points that I picked up on about Australian people that, yeah, they're definitely not what I expected. Overall, I definitely like Australian people. They are definitely some of my favorite people anywhere in the world. Very nice and friendly. But yeah, these points did kind of take me a bit by surprise. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.